Hey, in this video we'll be looking at how to create ambiences using a convolution reverb plugin. First we'll need some noise around 30 seconds long with a wide frequency range, such as white or pink noise. If you don't have this, we can easily create our own in Reaper by adding a noise generator plugin. Just search for one and add it to our empty audio track. This one seems to do the job well, so we'll turn down the volume quite a bit and that's it. Then make a time selection of around 30 seconds and render that out as an audio file. As there's nothing actually in the project, we'll use the time selection as the bounds of the audio file we want to create. Now we have our audio file of noise rendered, we can go ahead and delete this track. So now we can add our noise as a new audio track. Let's add a nice long fade out and fade in, and insert an EQ plugin. We'll add re-EQ because we can add more bands to play with, but feel free to choose any you wish. We can then change the gain of each band to around -6 or +6 decibels. Don't worry about the frequency yet, as that'll come later. You can also have a play about with the bandwidth control, but I find it's best to keep this pretty wide. And then what we'll do is add the frequencies of all the bands to the automation lane. And then we can go ahead and put in some automation points and move them slightly up or down to make a small ramp over time. This is so we can change the frequency of each band subtly over time, and that makes the noise sound more interesting. So let's open the EQ and hit play to hear and see the changes over time. And we can make some tweaks to the bandwidth controls and gains of a frequency band. You can even move the automation points so that some of the ramps are shorter than others. I like the sound of that. It's very subtle, but if we make things too drastic, I've found that it starts to sound very sci-fi and unnatural. So we'll export that out. We can now also delete that track and add a new empty track. On this empty track we'll add a convolution reverb plugin. I like to use Reverb by Liquid Sonics. Before we forget, let's change the dry wet mix control to 100% wet, and we'll turn the gain down because volumes can get high pretty fast. We will then import the audio file we just created as the Reverb's Impulse. But this won't do anything by itself, so we need to add some material to the track. Here I have some random samples. These can be anything, so have a play about and see what sounds best to you. So I'll just drag some random ones onto the track with the convolution reverb. As we've made our impulse to be around 30 seconds, we can place the sample somewhere in the middle of that, around each 50 seconds or so. And that will create a nice evolving flow instead of being too sparse or too complex. And if we hit play, we can hear the ambience that we've just created. And then all that's left to do is render that out and create your final audio file. You can experiment with different samples, different timings, and different noises as the impulse. It's really easy to create a bunch of variations, and that's that. If you like this video, check out my video where we go through 2 ways to create impulses for convolution reverbs, or look at the basics of Resample-O-Matic 5000. That's all for now, see you next time.